Okay, so there's another question about the wrist tendons. I've already covered the ligament, but there are 4 tendons which go at the corner of the wrists. That drives the pitch and the yaw. And it's done by just 2 servos. And in order for that to happen, the tendon has to cross over at the back. And you can see if I pull things around a little bit, that there's a cross there in the tendon. You also have to make sure that there's enough additional material, enough additional tendon wrapped around. So you need to be at least half a pulley ahead of where the tendon will leave the spool. The tendon itself is actually a single continuous loop, and that means that it only has to be secured at one, or rather only has to be terminated at one of the servos. On the other servo, you simply bring a loop up, wrap it around the center screw, tighten it down. On the end servo, there's a washer there, and that gives a bit more clamping area, and you use that to clamp the tendon onto the servo horn. The path of the tendon is that it has to go up and around one finger, so up and down, round a pulley at each corner, and another pulley up top, one on the insert, one permanently fixed here, and it has to wrap round to some extent both of the spools. So if you imagine it starting on this one, you can see there's some overlap there. So the starting point is actually all the way over here, and it comes round like that. Goes across the top and round this pulley, and then into the hand, straight down. The hand itself is secured by a loop round here and a loop back through there, and that way you have the full circular position. The moment arm stays more or less constant rather as that moves, because this tendon can disappear round that corner. The way to get it through that gap is to get a thinner piece of tendon to form a loop, push it or pull it through with a pin or another even thinner loop, and then when you can pass the orange tendon or the thicker tendon through that and pull it through that gap, and that will allow you to cross them inside the print. At this end they're secured by looping over and just screwing with a normal M2, and then it goes down through that hole to the other side. So in the hand, on both sides it's the same. The tendon comes up, crosses over, goes round that loop, goes back out. So to continue what we were saying with how this tendon goes from here, once it's gone round this pulley, goes up into the hand, does that loop, comes back through here and passes over one of the corner pulleys. In the centre of a corner pulley there is a spacer, which is I think 4.4 millimeters tall, and a bearing and a little pulley like that. Same thing that goes here, and on the newer design, same thing that goes there. Just keeps it simpler. So once the tendon comes back up here, it's going to attach to the second servo. Again, overwrap slightly more than you need, and go. Continue it on so that you've got enough movement in that servo that it can accommodate the full movement of the wrist. Looking at that, you can just get away with it. No, this must do another loop. Okay, so this one has to come up, go over the top. This will be locked off. Gets about there. And then you continue round so that the tendon has got a complete wrap on that one. Comes across to here, turns 90, the same as it does for that one, goes up to the first finger, does the loops through the hand, comes back through here to another pulley, and now it comes back to the first servo, wraps slightly over further than it needs to go, comes through one of these holes, clamp it off. It's a complicated setup. Once it's in, you can then add the other servos for the thumb, the last two in the middle, which go on top. In fact, this one, as a note, it's screwed on, and it needs to be enough servo cable for it to wrap around like that. That is how the wrist tendons are done. Possibly the hardest bit. Let me know if you need any more help. I'll do what I can. Cheers.